definitely have some issues. Let's do this. Progress. Should be okay.
For whatever reason, it doesn't show to put all these
Right.
It shows you to put all the bracing in place, but probably said they should also. Hey friends, I am going to do my best today to give as thorough as possible review as I can for this greenhouse we just got. We got it all put together, it's all good, and the foundation is all mounted to the foundation. And at first we thought that it was going to be pretty simple to put together, and I mean, we're both mechanically inclined, we didn't think it was going to be an issue, and at first it was fine. But then the further we went, it wasn't that great. The instructions weren't that clear. And even though they were pretty much pictorial and self-explanatory and things like that, and generally easy, some of the factors that made it very kind of disappointing was structural. And, you know, on the foundation, when we put the mounts on the 2x4 and 2x6s, there was nothing in the instructions to say how far apart and between which support brackets we should screw them down. So once we had the foundation screwed down, when it came to build the walls and to connect the, what do you call them? The slide pieces that hold the studs, we ended up having to move some of the foundational anchors out of the way. So there's nothing to indicate that kind of spacing. So that was our number one issue, the first issue that we had. Then the next thing was when we did place the studs up, you know, to where the plastic panels could go down, the instructions said that we were supposed to have a spacer bar to show us how far apart to put those. We didn't get one in the kit. There was not one in the kit. So what we ended up doing is placing the studs and then putting the plastic pieces in, you know, to get our spacing that way. And that worked pretty well, and it got us to where we are. And but it was disappointing that there was no spacer bar. So we measured initially with the tape measure, and it's all in centimeters, so we had to convert it to inches. Some of it's converted to inches, but I don't believe that part was. And so, but the next thing is, the number 3 thing was the trim pieces that go along the outside edges. They're supposed to slide under the roof panel edge, and I'll show you all this in just a minute, under the roof panel edge, and come down and click into the corner. Well, the weather stripping kept coming out, and it was really hard. You really had to bang it in rather than it snapping in. It just doesn't work, and some of the pieces, while they're in, they're on the verge of popping back out. So that's a disappointing thing. The window braces, there's 2 windows up at the top that pop open, and those work fine, and I like that idea for a cross breeze. But the window itself, it comes up like this, and it's supposed to come down and rest on a bar here. And they do that, but at least one of them you have to finagle in order for the window to fit down on it. So I don't think it's because we didn't get the foundation square or anything, because that's pretty good. It's just how the whole frame tends to, because I believe it's aluminum, but it tends to kind of sag a little bit across the roof. Even though it does have supports going up to the peak, it's just not very heavy duty at all. And then the last thing is the 2 front doors. They close one on top of the other, and then they open outward. Do it that way. Well, this door closes, then this door closes on top of it, but then, and that's all well and good as far as the design goes, but then when you open it, the weather stripping on this door, it just slides right out. So this greenhouse is a great idea. The manufacturing of it is a bit cheap and warpable, and some of the pieces came slightly bent, but not really to the extent that it really hindered our putting it together. But I think that they could do a lot of improving on the clarity of how it all goes together, the simplicity of it, the quality of it. Maybe use a little bit heavier material. Some of the pieces, like the studs, when you put the brace pieces in, they're fastened with plastic screws, actually up at the top and at the corners, but then there's metal flathead screws that you turn into the wall of the stud, and that's a great idea. However, sometimes they pop out of the ridges, and that makes it quite tedious. This definitely tested Corey and me just a bit. And where we are with it is that if we had to do again, or if we were to recommend something else, we probably would have just gone with a stick frame and built it ourselves, 2x4s, and gotten some plexiglass or something else for the windows, if not using real glass. But this greenhouse may stand up to maybe 50-mile-an-hour winds. Of course, we get hurricanes and strong storms here in Florida, so we'll see how long it lasts. But it will definitely work for what we need right now for starting seeds for our spring garden. So that's an exciting thing. It's still a good investment. It was like $1,250, but it's definitely lacking in quality and, you know, longevity, I think, in how long it's going to last and how it's going to hold up. But we'll see, and of course we'll give updates as we go along to see what the quality actually is. But it's kind of not up to par. I'm gonna walk over here and show you a few things. The trim pieces I was talking about are these pieces right here. They're on, but we had to really work to get them on. Now the doors come together, and I don't know that it's very easy to see at this point, but the doors are uneven. Let me see if I can get this closed all the way. But at the bottom they don't really come together the same, so if I straighten it up a little bit, I got it like that. It looks like the trash guy is playing with the kids next door. But anyway, they're not really even. And if I go ahead and do the 3 places to open it, you'll see how the weather stripping just slides down, and I keep having to slide it back up. So that's kind of disappointing. See, it's just sliding down. In here, I can't reach it, so I can't really show you, but these are the windows that I was talking about. This will come down and rest on this, but you have to pull the bar down in order for the window to click in. It's pretty spacious in here and good. I mean, it will shake, but it feels sturdy against the side. But that's kind of our experience with this. This is the screw that I was talking about. It goes in the groove of the wall, and when you tighten it, it turns so that it can't come out. And some of those are tedious because they want to turn and fall out, or just, you know, finagle somehow. You know, you can imagine how tedious that is. And that's how all of these corner brackets are put in, and that's how most of this stuff is put in and bracketed. It's really cute, I'll give it that, and it'll definitely work for what we need right now. So there is our review. Those are our thoughts. Hopefully it was helpful, and as always, thanks for joining us, and don't forget to keep smiling.